CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right now, we are tracking Hurricane Helene as it rapidly strengthens heading towards Florida. Next, weather chief meteorologist and hurricane specialist Ivan Cabrera is here now to give us the latest update. Ivan?
Yes, indeed. 80-mile-an-hour hurricane right now across the northwestern Caribbean. Lauren, is just to the east of Cancun here, and it is now emerging into the Gulf of Mexico. And all the while, it's already impacting southern Florida here. Now, we're not looking at, sustained tropical storm winds yet, but we do have those warnings and anticipate those conditions beginning at tonight. But look at these bands already moving through. So let's zoom in and show you some of them as they have moved through. We have been clocking winds anywhere from, as far as the gusts, right, 20, 30, even some 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts there down towards Key West. But notice the break here. So we get these little clusters of storms, but then we get even sunshine breaking through. So as we've been talking about, not a steady shield of rain coming in. Our next weather rain tracker with the gusts there, you'll be able to see as everything continues to move off to the north and west at times. We are going to see those wind gusts at around tropical storm force strength, but nothing sustained as of yet. So let's get back to the storm here. It has been struggling a little bit today with some dry air, so that's why we're at 80 miles an hour, not at 100. We'll get there because I think that won't be an issue for it in the next 12 hours or so. But there it is. As that counterclockwise flow continues, it has been kind of gulping that dry air. You see how clear the center is there, and that is not conducive for rapid intensification. But we think it'll shed that. We think it'll fill in, and we think it'll intensify. In fact, the Hurricane Center's forecast has it as a 100-mile-an-hour Category 2. So this is going to start changing categories throughout the day today and heading into tonight. And then by tomorrow morning, we have a major Cat 3 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. And at that point, really, the intensity forecast, we're planning for 125-mile-an-hour wind landfall, but that can always change. You can always get rapid intensification, and if that happens, it could even be a category higher. So we're planning here for the worst of it across the Nature Coast. That's going to be east of Panama City, and the bulk of it there towards Steinhatchee, which is where Debbie, of course, made landfall. It is going to pass a well 200 miles to the west, but the system is large as far as how much space it's taken here. So the wind field extends all the way into southern Florida. That's the reason we are now under tropical storm warnings. It's not that the track has shifted to the east. It's just the system and its wind field are so huge that we're going to be under that. So there it is, landfall Thursday around 8, 9 o'clock, 125-mile-an-hour wind. So we're literally just about 36 hours away or so. Storm surge warning, of course, continues, and the latest modeling trends and the latest intensity forecast has ramped up the storm surge potential. So we're now looking at places like Tampa, 4 to 8 feet, 8 to 12 to the north of that. And then, of course, the worst of the storm surge will be where it makes landfall into the east of the eye there. 3 to 5 foot storm surge for the western part of Florida, including mainland and Monroe here, and then 1 to 3 feet for the Florida Keys. So for the rest of tonight and heading into tomorrow, let's show these bands as they come through. So I don't think we're going to get into a significant flood threat, but we are going to get these squalls that move in with wind gusts sometimes between 50 and 55, if not 60 miles an hour as we head throughout the day, and then we'll begin to see that improvement. I'll leave you here with the 7-day forecast. Next alert, obviously, for tomorrow. Improving Friday. I think Friday we're in much better shape, and then the weekend actually turns much drier, particularly Sunday, as the system will then be hitting the southeastern U.S. with torrential rain there. We'll keep you posted. Big 5 p.m. advisory coming up. We'll hope you join us for that on CBS Miami.
Ivan, thank you. And as Ivan mentioned, Helene strengthened to a Category 1 hurricane today as it moves across the Gulf of Mexico toward the U.S. The National Hurricane Center has issued hurricane warnings for Florida's northwestern coastline, and forecasters say the entire west coast of Florida could face life-threatening storm surge from a Category 3 storm. CBS News Miami's Jason Allen reports.
Along Florida's west coast, residents are boarding, fueling, and filling up before Helene's potentially dangerous hit. In Tallahassee, Dorothy Richardson is getting ready to hunker down with 6 of her grandchildren.
Either which way it go, I need to prepare. Get my sandbags, got my coal, got my lighter fluid, got my propane tank.
Meanwhile, Russell King is preparing to evacuate his Mexico Beach home. He says the house barely withstood Hurricane Michael in 2018.
We lost our shower, we lost our elevator, we lost all of our ground floor walls. We think we're okay with these now, but we don't know. 125 miles an hour, they get blown out.
Governor Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency for most of Florida, and mandatory evacuations are in effect for some living along the coast.
You can hide from the wind, and there will be significant wind on this storm, but you got to run from the water.
Tallahassee Mayor John Daley says the city is doubling its workforce, with crews from other states coming in to help restore power and deliver aid to the area after Helene hits.
You are used to hurricanes. When you see a storm track like this, though, how much does it concern you?
It's very concerning. I'm from Tallahassee. This is my hometown. We have never seen a storm of this magnitude that could possibly be a direct hit to Tallahassee.
Right here along the water, busy marinas are empty this morning. People have been moving boats and everything else away from the water. And this is a community that is still dealing with damage from Debbie from last month and from Hurricane Idalia from last year. Jason Allen, CBS News, Steinhatchee, Florida.
And there's a state of emergency in Monroe County. The Keys are feeling some of the effects from Hurricane Helene. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri shows us what it looks like in Key West.
Here in Key West, we're hundreds of miles away from the eye of Helene, but there's still some effects that we're feeling on the coastline here. There are a lot of aggressive waves that are washing up on sidewalks, making it very slippery for people that are trying to walk around. And you can definitely feel the winds here. This is at Rest Beach Park here in Key West. Again, there is a state of emergency here in Monroe County. All county resources are being used to respond to the storm. Officials are urging those that live on boats to head to a shelter, and they're suggesting that you evacuate if you live in an area that's low to sea level. County officials are working with local municipalities here along the Keys, along with the Navy and the Coast Guard, having constant meetings throughout the night as they prepare for this storm. And we're told by officials that this is expected to pick up on Thursday. In Key West, Steve Majiri, CBS News Miami.
While South Florida is not expected to get the brunt of the storm, some cities are helping residents get ready for the rain. In the city of Fort Lauderdale, you can pick up sandbags until 6 today at Shirley Small Park. Sand is also available daily for self-service pickup at Floyd Hull Stadium and Mills Pond Park. You must bring your own sandbags and shovel. And you can get sand at Frost Park in Dania Beach until 6 tonight. And as Helene inches closer to Florida, CBS News Miami will bring you live team coverage across the Sunshine State. Naja Sherman is in Tallahassee, and as you saw, Steve Majiri will report from Key West. Stay with us on air and online for continuing coverage. And South Florida is getting ready to help the hardest hit areas after the storm passes. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench reports.
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue is sending help to Central Florida before the hurricane makes landfall. 84 men and women from Task Force 1 of the Urban Search and Rescue Team packed up their gear and left in a massive convoy from their headquarters here in Duval. They will be based in Ocala. Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava spoke to them before they left and waved to the convoy. She told us she is proud of their efforts.
Here at the Emergency Operations Center, we have our Urban Search and Rescue Florida Task Force 1 team that was just deployed to go up to North Florida for the area most affected by the storm. And I am very personally proud and emotional to bid them on their journey. We know they go into areas of danger. We know they save lives. We know they have the training, the skill, and the commitment to get it done. And we're proud to be able to help our neighbors in distress, just like we've done for every major storm deployment in the state of Florida and beyond.
Coming up at 5 in just 1 hour, we will hear from members of the Urban Search and Rescue Team and why they felt compelled to help out. In Doral, Peter Dench, CBS News Miami.
Now at 4, an arrest has been made after a deadly shooting at a Mexican restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. This man, Cesar Esquivel Estrada, is now charged with premeditated murder. It all reportedly began over an argument when one man insulted another over his song choice on a jukebox Monday. It happened at Antojitos Mexicanos restaurant on Davie Road near State Road 7. The victim died. A new Senate report is revealing more of the failures that a would-be assassin to open fire on former President Trump in Pennsylvania, what the Secret Service failed to do before the rally when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Now to the crisis in the Middle East. Tensions are rising in the region. Overnight, Israel's military intercepted the first ever Hezbollah missile that was apparently aimed at Tel Aviv. Hezbollah says the target was Israel's intelligence headquarters. In Beirut, the head of Hezbollah's rocket forces was killed in an Israeli airstrike yesterday. According to Lebanese health officials, since Monday, hundreds have been killed and thousands wounded, including children. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky took to the world stage today at the UN General Assembly, warning of the dire intentions from Russia. Zelensky told member nations the Kremlin is planning attacks on Ukraine's nuclear power plants. He says Vladimir Putin has already destroyed his nation's thermal plants, leaving Ukrainians in the cold and dark as the war approaches its third winter. The Ukrainian leader called on member nations to stand together.
I want peace for my people. Real peace and just peace. And I'm asking for your support from all nations of the world. We do not divide the world.
Zelensky also criticized Russia's veto power on the UN Security Council. And new details now. A bipartisan Senate committee has revealed its report on the first assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. It details lapses in preparation and communication the day of the attack back in July. According to the report, Secret Service agents could not agree who was ultimately responsible for decision-making leading up to that day. It went on to say that agents and local law enforcement failed to set up visual barriers that may have blocked the shooter's view of Trump. They also lacked a plan on how to secure the building the shooter took aim from. Also, agents did not request a surveillance team, which would have helped patrol the rally. That's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.